so he jumped in to swim out to recover his boat. Well, his boat continued to drift away from him. Once he got to the boat is kind of an older boat that he was unable to reach up and grab and hold on to, so there was nothing to grab. And eventually it appears that he lost his fight trying to stay above water, and that's when we responded.
Can you explain the difficulty of recovering a body like this, knowing the waters are so murky and there are gators in there?
There's a lot of challenges that we have out here. We have the gators. That's a huge challenge to us. We have to be extremely careful with them. But this is an old dock situated close to major highways, and our counterparts, fire rescue and our agency, have actually trained here. We know on the bottom is there's cars that are on the bottom, there's logs, there's a lot of anomalies that are on the bottom, which really mess up our side scan sonar when we're trying to figure out what belongs and what doesn't belong down there. It also hampers us as we're trying to drag the bottom because our hooks are getting caught on the bottom. And then of course the fire rescue personnel, you can see it's black, murky water. They're picking their way through the bottom of this water here.
Can you describe the boat for us? You said it was an older boat?
Yeah, so it was an older boat with a regular boat hull, a V hull, but it had like a pontoon boat top on it, and it was extremely old. Last night when we pulled it out of the water, it had taken on a significant amount of water, so I don't know if it was sinking or what the issue was with the boat. We talked to the wife who was here, but she was so distraught she was not really able to provide much insight into the boat and the issues that the boat was having.
Did she go into the water to try to save her husband?
She did not go into the water to try to save him. Okay. Her initial response was to call a neighbor who was a former law enforcement officer down south, and that neighbor responded here and then called us. Okay. So there was a time delay before we arrived.
Okay. Could you say what time you got the first call?
Yes, sir. Our first call was around 5:30 p.m. last night.
Okay.
And I know there was a current, and you're focusing though the search right here because this is where it happened. You don't believe that the body, at this point it's a recovery effort, I imagine. Do you believe that the body could have drifted in any way? Are you guys looking in other areas along the waterway besides just this direct section here?
Yes, I know we're several miles removed from the ocean, but the currents still do affect here. So the boat itself drifted from this dock almost down to the bridge, which is off to my left, a couple hundred yards. So the boat drifted that far. So we have to take into account that he could have drifted that far also. And so we're searching back and forth as the tides come and go. We're trying to work that also. It's a difficult task to try to guess where to go next.
Could you say how fast the current was and how windy it was last night?
I'm not sure how fast the current itself was, but the winds were rolling probably 20 miles an hour. It was extremely gusty last night, right before dark.
Okay.
And at this point you can't say anything if you think that maybe a gator got to him or if he really just slipped and fell and couldn't keep up with the water. I mean, I know there's so many gators in this water. Is there a possibility that a gator could have grabbed him?
We're not thinking that. Again, she witnessed him go into the water, swim to the boat, try to grab onto the boat, and then was unsuccessful. Post him going onto the water, gators are absolutely part of the equation, and we are worried about gators manipulating or moving him wherever he might be. So they do tend to take objects and put them under ledges or under logs, and that is certainly part of what we're worried about today.
Are you looking for areas where gators may be to possibly help locate where he might be since they're protective of whatever they find?
No, we've tried first thing this morning to move the gators away from our search location. You know, the chief's fire rescue personnel are far better suited diving the bottoms, you know, hand searching the area than trying to guess where these gators are, because they do move around and they hunt throughout the day.
I know you can't speak about her, but how is she doing, his wife? Any update on her?
I was with her here last night. She was distraught and confused. She's older also. She was struggling, obviously, and we're re-interviewing her today, talking to her today. She's reached out to her family. She has several children, adult children, that are working their way to Florida to help comfort her and give her guidance through this time.
And now what
We're not to that point to decide or even speculate yet. We're hoping to be successful today. Sometimes during past operations, it does take several days to be effective, but we're hoping to make as short a work as possible, but we do want to bring closure to the family and solve this case.
Can you say how many divers you have out today and how many you had last night?
I'll defer to the chief. The divers are fire rescue personnel, so I'll defer to the chief.
Can you get closer to the mic?
Yeah, sorry, chief.
So we have divers last night. We have a minimum of 5 divers that are on our team. But what I want to be clear is when we initially had this call, we had fire rescue from the local station of Tropical Farms, which is right down the road. They responded to the scene, and we had our crews that are not divers immediately enter the water because of how close to the incident happening. So they did a surface swim initially. They obviously met with the victim's wife and had a conversation with her just about witnessing of where the location is. Our special ops team, which is our dive team, was en route during the incident, and they actually suit out in the truck on the way here. So as soon as they arrived, which would be within 10 minutes of this call, they actually hit the water. But we have 5 divers at that time. We have 5 divers right now, and they're constantly rotating. But the way our divers are trained is this is what we would call black water diving. Unfortunately, it's very, very, as the chief had said there, it's very murky conditions and you have zero visibility. But they are trained to dive with obstacles like this in the water, which are the wildlife, the marine life. There's trees in there, there's cars in there. There's a lot of different areas where they have to do this technical type diving. This is what they're trained for. And as far as finding the victim, we do have other assets there like the side scan sonar that will help us do that, but the best way you're actually going to do it is actually having a diver in the water and actually locate the victim that way. And that's what our firefighters are trained to do with our special ops team.
The boat drifted 100 yards, you said?
Ma'am?
The boat drifted how many yards, you said?
It drifted, behind me there's a bridge that is Kenner Highway, and it's probably within 200 yards of the dock behind me.